Hello there, this is going to be Histrivia number 15. Uh, for Histrivia number 15, I decided to do something a little bit different. I decided to do a well known politician's profile from the past. And if you've seen the Lincoln movie, and this is the actor who plays him, I couldn't find that good of a picture for him. But if you've seen the Lincoln movie, you know who this guy is. I'm going to do Fernando Wood, going to go over his political career, what he did during the Civil War, and what he did after the Civil War, of course. Uh, Fernando Wood was born in 1812 and died in 1881. He was twice the mayor of New York City. His first term was 1855 to 1858, and his second term was 1860 to 1862. After that, well, even before that, in between his two terms as mayor of New York and afterwards, he served in the U.S. House of Representatives 3 times. First time was between 1841 and 1843. Second time was 1863 and 1865. And the last time was 1867 up until his death in 1881. Now, Wood is actually a very popular known figure during the American Civil War for several reasons. First, he was known as a Copperhead Democrat. If you've seen a previous Histrivia video, you'll know about the Copperheads, were the anti-war fraction of the North. Now, Wood was one of those prominent Copperhead Democrats. Now, during his second term as mayor of New York City, he suggested to the New York City Council in January of 1861, as several states, one by one, were starting to secede from the Union. He said that New York should secede from the Union and form its own free city-state to continue cotton trade with the several states. He thought that it made more economic sense to go with the South than with the North. So he suggested to the council that, hey, we too should secede from the Union, create our own city-state, and we can continue trade among the Confederacy and make some money. This, however, was not very popular, and it really didn't do any good. Another thing that Wood did during his term as mayor, if you know about late 19th century politics, you know about Tammany Hall. While Tammany Hall ran the shots in New York City, Fernando Wood didn't really like Tammany Hall that much. He thought of it as a lot of stupid politicians who didn't know what they were doing. So what he did was he formed his own democratic organization called Mozart Hall, which helped push his policies for the city and kind of brought Democrats who were more like him into his wing. Now, after he failed to win re-election in 1862, he went for Congress. So he became a congressman in 1863, and it went into like 1865. During this time, he was a main opponent of the 13th Amendment to end slavery. He was very outspoken against the amendment, and if you've seen the Lincoln movie, you know that he does like a big speech. I don't know if that's true or not, but after the vote for the amendment, which he votes no, of course, he loses his seat in 1865 to a Republican. But here's the thing. Even though he lost his seat in 1865, he won it back in 1867, in which he served until his death in February of 1881. During his time in Congress, he was very outspoken, some would say annoying. There was sometime in the I think it was the 1870s maybe, where they had to have something like, the senator talks too much. They had to have like something against him. Like, I think it was a a motion to silence him. Yeah, it was a motion to silence him. Some congressmen in the House of Representatives wanted a motion to silence Fernando Wood on January 15th, 1868. It was motioned by it was put forth by Congress, who was an uproar at him, basically calling Congress out. He said that a piece of legislation he deemed a monstrosity, a measure to the most infamous and most infamous acts of this infamous Congress. Because of that, a lot of uproar was made among the Republicans who had the majority, and this was followed by a motion by one of them to censor Wood, which passed 141 to 39. So this really, when I assumed that he wasn't really well liked then, but anyway, um, after after that, he served out the rest of his term in Congress up until 1881, in which he died in early 1881, I think in like January or February. And that was basically it. He ended his career as a know-nothing politician. So anyway, I hope you like this Histrivia topic. I wanted to do it because, it's a part of history and it might not be well known. Sure, the Lincoln movie does talk about it, but I heard that the Lincoln movie isn't entirely accurate, somewhat. So I wanted to shed some light on this. So hopefully you like this one.